Hi everyone, I'm Zach Reinhardt, here to review this guy right here, the new Tofubeats album, Positive. Tofubeats is a producer and occasional kind of auto-tuney singer that rose to kind of underground fame in the Tokyo hip-hop scene, producing a lot of beats for various rappers, and he broke it big with his first album, and now is on Warner Music Japan. Uh, this is his third album, his second on Warner Music, and I didn't listen to his last album because there was this one like really really bad song featuring Noko from Shinsei Kamate-chan that was like one of the worst songs of 2014, and I just did not pick up that album because of that. But I picked up this one because I liked what I was hearing in the singles. So I thought I'd do something different format wise with this review. I think I'm going to go through this album track by track because there's some pretty big swings in how much I like this album track by track. So starting off, we've got Dance and Dance, which is a kind of just auto-tuney pop song. If you've listened to Tofubeats' Beats, if you listen to music by Tofubeats before, you've probably heard a lot of songs that sound exactly like this. It's got like some scratching and kind of a hip hop drum beat and some piano chords. It's all right. Then we've got the title track, Positive, one of the lead singles as well. It's featuring Dream Ami, who is one of the members of the idol groups Dream and E-Girls. And she's all right. Her vocals are very cleanly produced and very kind of pitch perfect and spot on, but nothing really special about them, and kind of the same about the whole song. It's not incredibly interesting, but it's fun. It's fun to dance to. I ultimately like the song. And then we've got TDM featuring Okada. It's Okada. I'm not sure what inflection to put on that. Okada, but Okada is a another producer, kind of like Tofubeats himself from Japan. He's got a Bandcamp if you want to look him up. And this song's kind of synth funky. It's like one of the first songs on the album to really use synths in a big way, and yeah, I like it. It's fun. It's kind of minimal, the instrumental, but it's got a fun chorus and fun bass line, and I mean that's kind of all you need, right? And then we've got Too Many Girls featuring Treva. He's a rapper from Japan. He's been around for a while. I think he's got like 5 or 6 albums out, and he is the only rapper on the whole album, which I feel like is pretty interesting considering Tofubeats' history with hip hop. And he's pretty good. He's fairly charismatic, and I like his verse. And the chorus is pretty forgettable. I mean, it's too many girls, too many girls. Like, it's pretty meh. But I like the verses, but it's at this point in the album when I kind of realize that all of the beats so far, all of the instrumentals to these songs have been pretty much just piano chords over a drum loop. And then there's like some other stuff, like there was some guitar on positive, and there was some synths on TDM, and like there's some horns that you can hear, but most of the songs are literally just piano chords dun, 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 over a drum loop. And it's really quite tedious to listen to. But then we get to Stakeholder, which is completely different. Stakeholder is just Tofubeats making an instrumental song, and it's pretty good. It's got these like big kind of trance pad synths, and it has some vocals on the chorus and on the bridge, but I feel like even when the vocals are on, the focus of the song is still on the instrumental, and it goes over well. I like the song a lot. And then we get to Throw Your Laptop on the Fire, featuring Komuro Tetsuya. Komuro Tetsuya is probably one of the most important names in Japanese pop history. He was of the like first wave of J-pop when it was first trying to differentiate itself from like Kaiyokyoku of the time. And he's the man who basically brought single-handedly dance music to Japan, and which has been hugely influential. And so you'd think that he would make a good song because he's written a lot of good songs in the past. But this song is like the worst EDM song I've heard in a long time. It's incredibly unimaginative. It's boring, and it has this just repetitive vocal sample that over like some bass, and they think that qualifies as a good drop. And it's just horrible, boring trash. But then we get to another mostly instrumental solo Tofubeats song called I Know You. And it's kind of vaporwavy, but what really impressed me about this song is just how many different textures were on this song, and how much the textures change and how dynamic they were. He's constantly like swapping out instruments over the same part over this song, and he's got like these big kind of freak out synths, and he's got like these like little saxophone parts, and then he'll swap them out, and he's got like these plinky synths, and then the bass line will be like this kind of like low buzzing kind of bass, and then it'll turn into this big like kind of synth funky elastic bass over these drums and piano. And it's really quite good. It's quite entertaining. There's a little bit of vocals at the end, but there's a lot of work put into the texture of this song and a lot of detail, and I like it a lot. But then we get to Without You, featuring Skyler Spence. Skyler Spence is formerly known as Saint Pepsi. He was one of the big guys to break out when Vaporwave got big at first. And this song is just fucking incredibly boring, generic trash. And I don't like it. Moving on, we have Steki no Maison. Now, Steki no Maison features Tina Tamashiro, who is not a singer, but a model. And you can tell very clearly that she's not a singer by the way she really struggles with her tone and timbre and putting any real kind of emotion into her voice, because I assume she's just focusing too much on trying to hit the right notes, which she does. But, and there's a bit of a conflict of interest here. I'm a male, and Tina Tamashiro is really attractive. And when reviewing this song, I find it hard to separate my ears from my penis. And that might be the reason that I like this song a lot. I think it's the best song with a vocal feature. And which is weird because it has the worst vocalist, um, except for maybe Skyler Spence. I would rather listen to Tina Tamashiro than Skyler Spence. But I feel like the kind of mellow horns and piano really complements and envelop her voice well. And I think she also got put on like probably the best written song on the whole album. The only real point where I kind of really don't like her voice is on the bridge, where the instrumental kind of gets a lot more minimal. But overall, I like the song a lot. But then we get the kurikaishi no music. Now, quick Japanese lesson. Kurikaishi means like repetitive or iterative or cyclical, maybe. Like you could describe Call of Duty as kurikaishi, repetitive. And it's exactly what it fucking says on the tin. It's repetitive. It's boring. I guess I should say it features Kishida Shigeru from the rather popular Japanese band Kururi. They spell it in English Quruli. If you want to look them up, they've been around for a little while, and I like some of their early stuff. Their stuff now I don't think is very good, but they've got quite the following. But yeah, Kurikaishi no music, boring and horrible. So then we go to Kanwakyudai, which is a like short minute and a half like little instrumental interlude that is for what it is pretty good. It's kind of old school hip hop like inspired, and I like it. It's good. And then we get to Betsu no Ningen, featuring Nakano Yoshie. Nakano Yoshie is the singer of the Japanese Osaka-based jazz band Ego Rappin'. And she's been singing ballads for quite a while and is quite good at it. And so when I heard this song and saw that it was a piano ballad and it was just a really good opportunity for her to flex her vocal chops, I was impressed with how much I didn't like it. She's quite the good singer. She has a really good command of her range, but the instrumental is incredibly boring. The piano is mixed so cleanly that there's no emotion in it. It's like a robot playing piano. And the song's just not written very well. It's not a very compelling song in itself for her to sing on. And which is disappointing because I feel like this was an opportunity for a really good song. But it just didn't come out that way. Which brings us to the final song, I Believe in You, which is an 8-minute EDM jam that is once again very dynamic with its textures and very detailed and has a lot of different parts to it. And there's a lot of work put into it. And with the exception of the first drop, which I think is like pretty underwhelming and boring, I like the song a lot. I don't feel like it overstays its welcome at 8 minutes long. And it's a pretty good closer. But I feel like it kind of brings a good head to my problem and likes about this album. So many of the songs where he features anybody is either just kind of meh and kind of boring, or is just flat out bad. And like the only exception to that I would say is I really like the Tina Tamashiro song Susteki na Maison. But when he's kind of left to his own devices to just make a track, especially when he makes an instrumental track, or I feel like it goes over really well. I feel like he's a really good producer, and when he does these just solo instrumental tracks, I feel like I can see why he's really considered a very good producer. But when he brings on these vocal guests, the instrumentals are all just so bland and boring, and the vocal guests don't bring enough to the table to just completely make up for bad songwriting and boring instrumentals. And so I'm really split with this album. And as a result, I feel like I need to give it a 5 out of 10. It has some highlights that I really like, and it has some like really, really just rough moments that I do not like at all. And everything in between is just kind of forgettable. And yeah. So that's me. Tofubeats, new album, positive. It's alright.